Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run old Bo Cephas through a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where they boot stomp all night. What? That's right. Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get the girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, shoot a back, shoot a back, a spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back a bit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now girl, hop inside. Me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back. I'm one of them boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back a spit.
It's the Wing It call. Today is May 9th, 2016. And no, we're not at the bank yet. Darn it. So, let me see here. Everybody is here. The recording is on. The disclaimer is we're not attorneys. Feedback. Somebody needs to mute out. We're not attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors. We do not give financial advice. We have our own opinion. And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to the wingitcall.com, my webpage, for the rest of the disclaimer. And that's also where you can see the latest replay, current links for the day, my puppy, my life story, and a few other things. Pastor, would you mind giving us the invocation?
No, I would. Thank you very much, Jerry. Father, in Jesus' name, we ask you to bless Jerry and every single one of the guest hosts on this call, everything we say, every bit of information given. And the people that are hearing, let them open their ears and hear what you're saying. Bring a steadiness, bring a peacefulness, and bring the blessing of the Lord to them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen to that. So a little housekeeping here at the get-go. And it's not what you think. Jerry has his hat in hand because we all know when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And so with hat in hand, that goes with any business. When the woman ain't happy, let me back up. When the women are not happy, I'm in deep crap. And so with hat in hand, I ask that the web mistress and her following forgive me for yesterday's little, as I like to call it, fox pal, and that just irritates the crap out of my wife when it should be pronounced a social faux pas, and that's exactly what I did by not informing them of some midstream changes, and so I apologize. With hat in hand, please forgive me. It's a learning curve. I have no derriere really left to give after the chomping that I got. Not from one woman, but from 4 of them. And so we all know how that goes. I am so sorry. That will not happen again. Now on to, is there more housekeeping? Hey, I think not. So we're going to go, if there is, and I'll remember it, I'll say it after Art. Art, come on in and kick it off there.
Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco. I like
yes.
that song, your last song before we start.
Absolutely.
Kind of catchy, yeah.
Good
afternoon to Pastor Jerry, Rockstar if he's around, and all the people listening. Beautiful day for the revaluation to become reality, that's for sure. And after last night, we kind of thought it would, and we did get a couple confirmations after the call that it did happen at 6 o'clock. One said Eastern and one said Pacific. We didn't care which time zone it was, but still waiting for numbers, so I guess something else is holding it up. I've heard nothing today whatsoever, very quiet, and I'm sure somebody on here may have something, I don't know, but that's all I've got. Nothing except everything's very positive. I think Ray did have one person come on early this morning and say they got a call from their wealth manager at a Wells Fargo bank who was told to be at work at 7 a.m. today. So that was a good indication that somebody expected something, I guess. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, and everybody have a great day, and maybe sometime this evening we'll get those numbers.
Leave that out. No, this does not come inside. Oh, my God.
What do you do
Get
now?
Out. No.
That's your problem, doggy.
I have a pond that has this plant that grows crazy, and she's pulling the plant up, eating the plant, the roots and all, and I have a big dog door, and she brings it in the house. No. Sorry. It's just life. I'm a redneck. Rockstar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I want to get
Very
down
good.
to it.
Well, and I was just clearing the board, and we're getting ready to. And hat in hand, I got a bunch of questions from the women in charge. We'll get to those in just a second. I've got a couple emails to read. I read them to Iko, and he goes, let's address those.
Yeah, they're classics. They're perfect questions. Perfect questions.
And I had started a couple of them. Let me get to the one that. Here we go. Remember the one we talked about? Clarification?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this just like it's read. And I got to thank the person will know it's their email. We are not bashing. I am not bashing. I'm reading this the way with emotion instead of just deadpanning it like somebody on a movie. So please don't take this wrong. I'm trying to bring what I feel is your emotion as I read this to this email. Jerry, our group really appreciates your call, bar none. Our group is having a problem with truth and deception. We all feel that your group, Joseph and others, are being purposely misled with intel providers that are feeding all of you with deception. Example, when Robert comes on your calls and tells everyone to get ready, that we are minutes away, then disappears because it didn't happen, it makes us wonder, it makes all of us wonder if someone or some group has fed him that info to give to us. Let me scroll down here. Also, when it doesn't happen over and over and over again, what is the real truth? There never is a follow-up as to why it did not happen, but the next call asks us to trust your info again. There is absolutely no responsibility for information that always leaves us empty. We hear that there are millions that have exchanged around the world, but we cannot prove one of the exchanges. We were told that China is in control, and they are putting down the cabal, but we never end up in the bank. Scroll down again. All of the intel is out of the country and can't be proved here at home. There is never a person in one of the 5,500 exchange centers that can come on and share with us that this thing that we are in is real. We never get bankers or that have real information on what is being said. Guys, what is the real truth and what really is going on? Until we are at the bank once and for all, this is nothing but just a hypothetical myth that is being put out day after day, week after week. Thank you for sharing this and give us some valid answers. So, Iko, would you like to start with your paragraph?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. So, again, guys, this is how I see it. I talked to most of the intel providers, and I talked to a couple of people inside one of the bank exchange centers. And I talked to an attorney for the UST, and I talked to a couple of other bankers, and I don't know, it might be about 15 people that I get all my info from. And the bottom line is, the answer to your question is, yes, we are being misled. We are also being led. And the trick is, when are we being led and when are we being misled? There are as many motives out there as there are people providing intel. So it's very confusing. It's very hard to figure out, who's who in America. But we are getting real factual information from people inside the exchange centers. We are getting real factual information from the folks who advise Joseph. Same thing with the folks who advise Dizzy Bear. Same thing with the folks who advise Robert. And they are also, in my opinion, maybe not getting fed so much misinformation as more like a piece of the puzzle in that moment that is left up to them to interpret. Because as you know, what Joseph says and what Dizzy says are very different animals. What Robert comes up with sometimes is right down the middle. The good news is this exchange is real. The good news is every time the dollar has devalued, the rates have gone up. The good news is there do appear to be sovereign rates out there. We're getting it from too many different sources, and I mean different sources, unconnected sources. But as to what those rates are, throw the dice. You've all been exposed now to the high end and the low end. It's all out there on the net. It's a mishmash, And it's being done on purpose while, in my belief, this thing winds down to a logical, systematic conclusion. That's just how it is. If you don't want to get caught up in the drama of all this, you have to divorce yourself from these calls and just wait for it to happen. I mean, that's all there is to it. Joseph was very honest yesterday. He believes that whatever information he gets, he should relate. So that's what he's doing. Don't shoot the messenger. Same thing with Dizzy. Even though there's a big feud out there right now with Dizzy, the information the man has and the perspective that he has is fantastic and should be listened to. You got to get rid of the drama. Same thing with what Robert brings in. You know, Robert gets real excited, and you can't blame him. He's getting really interesting information. And we confirm Robert's information all the time with people inside the bank. But by the same token, they're only telling what they're being told by upper management. So yes, the rates have been on the screens, and then they've been taken down. And then the Zim rate showed up at Chase, and then it was taken down. I think Joseph did a very good job of summarizing the skeleton trust deal, the structured payout deal. But what really matters is those of us that are watching this every day, when we get into that exchange room, we're going to know how to react to that final moment, to what information is actually being presented to us. We've been given all the answers for all the variables, but we just don't know what the final outcome is going to be until we get there. And you know, I'll couch it in military terms, even though I don't like this, but it's really probably one of the best analogies you can. You get intelligence, you get intel about who your enemy is, what their armament is, where they're dug in, the whole bit. You know, and the Air Force goes in and bombs the crap out of them. You think, oh, they got to be dead. Well, they're not dead. They've been hiding in holes the whole time. And you don't know what's happening until the first shot is fired. You've been trained for different scenarios and different situations, and this is where we're at right now. We've all been trained. We've all got all this information at our fingertips. We're going to do great in these exchanges. But the unfortunate part is, until we get there, we're just not going to know for sure, and there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. We're getting as accurate information as we can. That, I believe, is true. Some of it is purposely meant to mislead us, and then some of it and then the rest of it is to guide us and train us. I know it's a little bit of a ramble, but you know, you can't fault these people for giving the intel that they've been provided with, and you have to look in between the lines. You have to listen to the inflection in their voices. You got to give them some space for being human beings. All of that comes into play.
Okay, so from my side, I would like nothing better than to burn the damn house down. Nothing gained, nothing lost. But I can't do that. That's not the right thing to do. And I hate this, but cooler heads have to prevail, just like last night. You know, we want a seamless, try to have an uninterrupted transition from one to the other without the public knowing, trying to, you know, keep from having civil unrest. Think about if we have civil unrest. What's going to happen to all of us who are struggling and we're in a metropolitan area and we're not prepared? Could be really, really ugly. So the information sometimes fed to the people that give it to us. Maybe it's a smoke screen designed to smoke out the undesirables, and it happens on both sides. So the good balance is Ico's pretty steady about this. And when I want to go caustic on everything, now let's think about this. And yes, behind the scenes, I do have burned down moments, and now we can't do that. And then he's absolutely right. I'm human like everybody else. And who do you go to when you have nobody else to go to? At this point, I'm at the top of the heap because you've allowed me to be up here and you've given me the opportunity to talk to you and share some information. So I have an email address. I'm on the forum. So guess what I get? An earful. Luckily, the web mistress and her cohorts shield me from a lot of it, especially when they know for a fact that it's getting a little hot. So they take a lot of heat. So you got to give them some slack too. It was and I want to say this as politely as I can, that was a damn good email, good questions. You know who you are. Thank you very much. So that was the first one. Let me see. No, that is no. I only starred 2. Or is this one it right? No, this is it right here. And I'm reading this email. I'd asked this person a question, and I'm getting down to where past the personal part. Okay. And now I am trying to learn more about life and helping others, hopefully with this blessing and through programs such as yours. I enjoy your calls, but I have to be honest with you. This whole RV deal is starting to piss me off. I get the patience deal, but all this misdirection and lack of true facts and this God is going to make it happen is really pushing a damn button. Don't get me wrong, Jerry. I am a spiritual guy, but let's get real here. Even with Bruce's call, he now gives all those bullet points, 1 through 24, and goes through them, but you have no way of the facts or any way to ask on verification. And I'm not even referring to the structured and skeleton payout discussions that have been the flavor of the last months. We can't even confirm currency being gold-backed, SKRs being paid out, redemption or exchange centers set up throughout the country, and the so-called security associates with it. It was a very nice call last night, and as you could tell, there is a lot of frustration. A lot of frustration. It was also nice to see that there was some pointed question. It was also nice to see that there was some pointed questions directed toward Joseph about maybe who the hell he is, or may represent outside of the good Lord. And I also commend you, Jerry, when you're trying to reel Joseph in when he got going on the Republic and the political deal. To be honest with you, Jerry, here is what goes through my mind quite often when I listen to the calls such as yours and Bruce's. I think of someone like Miracle Queen and others that are taking breaks at work at Walmart to listen to the calls, and they're all in on this. And God help us if this is all smoke and mirrors. Thank you for your time. Jerry, be cool. In my response, I sent a response to this person. That's why I was running a little late. I said, yes, frustration is at an all-time high. Put yourself in my place with everyone expressing the same as you. Yes, I choose to do this for my brothers and sisters. So I must maintain balance for all, rather than adopt the burn-it-down attitude. Thank you for your email, Jerry McGuire. So those are the 2. and I'm the only one that reads the emails for the WINGIT email right now, and if I don't get to yours, I apologize. I try to answer as many as I can, but hell, there's probably 50 to 75 that comes in every day. So we have that. Oh, do you want me to forward this? There's like 40 questions. Let me forward this to you, Iko, so that you can, oh, crud. You're not on this side. Darn it. Never mind. Okay. Question 1, and this is from the forum. It's mentioned there is not a need for groups because of no more contract rates. Then Joseph said the rates are sovereign. So since the rates have gone up, let me blow this up a little bit, that small print. I'm old and blind. There's the other way. There we go. So my question is, since the rates have gone up, so everyone is getting higher rates. So my question is, if we are signing up with the Wells Fargo Group, will they offer us the sovereign rates? They have a contract with the Chinese for where the currency goes and a deal on taxes. But did Wells Fargo raise the contract rate they had with the Chinese? And if we make an appointment with them, how do we know if the rates are the sovereign ones? Good question. You can always ask to see the screens. And the sovereign rates are there, but I'm going to say right now, not everyone is going to get the sovereign rates. It's not my choice, it's their choice. Iko, can you still hear me? Or am I talking to myself?
No, I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Well, it was really quiet, and I'm going, oh, my God, have I dropped out?
No, we're going to be interviewed concerning the sovereign rates. And then there's going to be a discussion about how much do we really need? How much can we really manage? I mean, you can't, the extreme example, of course, is they're not going to give the sovereign rates to a toothless crackhead. Okay? Remember that one? They're not going to give the extreme sovereign rates to somebody who they feel cannot manage them. They're going to give the sovereign rate to people who demonstrate the ability to manage large sums of money, even if they've never had it before, just the ability to do so, and their intention to distribute this wealth, both in philanthropic ventures, formal charities, formal relief fund, but also just spread the joy. They don't want to give it. If you listen to Joseph yesterday, he said specifically they don't want to give it to the wealthy elite of the present day because they've demonstrated that what they do is they hoard it and attempt to turn it into even more money. They don't distribute it. And that is why the Chinese want to give it to, the average guy on the street, man and woman on the street, and let them distribute it. So it jumpstarts the economy. So it makes it possible for small business people. I mean, I was a small businessman. It was nuts. And then I retired. And my friends who are still in business, it's even worse now trying to run small. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for a company under $10 million to spend what they're spending on healthcare and administration. That's just ridiculous. When healthcare is your number one line item in your budget, that's absurd. All that's got to change, and it will change. We'll have to make it change. And that's who they're looking for. They're looking to give economic power to people who are going to make these changes, not sit back and buy a bunch of toys and then leave the rest in the bank and watch their interest payments come in quarterly. That's not who they want.
I want to. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this, but I really don't care. So this deals with the Affordable Health Care Act, formerly known, and in its redneck is Obamacare. So some quotes that we need to remember, and I'm going to have a poster made up with some of these quotes, and I've forgotten a few. At one time, the best quote in the world was, "Read my lips, no new taxes." Great. Next best quote, or actually the one that tops that, and everybody's going to be scratching their heads, but I want you to think about this. Well, we've got to pass it to see what's in it. That pertains to Obamacare. At that time, just to Google who was the Speaker of the House. Best quote ever. This administration will be the most transparent ever. I got a hairball stuck on that one. I'm sorry. So I say that not tongue in cheek, but is the truth. So I want to go to the next question. Well, at number 2, and we're probably going to, I'll read it, but we're going to go by it because we don't know. I'm in the UK and was wondering, will our great British pound become gold back with a GC euro along with your dollar, and will we in UK be offered a structured trust like the USA? It's outside of the USA. My apologies, but as far as I know about the gold backing, the whole world is at one time is going to go to a gold backing, and it should be here right now. We just don't know about it yet. So on to question 3.
Can I weigh in on that asset gold back fiat argument? Joseph made a very strong statement yesterday that we are already asset backed, and anybody saying that we are still in a fiat system is either lying or misinformed. And I agree with that with a caveat. I think we are asset backed if we look at tier levels. I think we are asset backed on a multinational level. I think we are asset backed on multinational corporations making deals with one another, but we are still fiat backed down here on the street. And you can't dispute that. We're fiat backed. That's what we're doing. We go to the bank for a loan today. It's a fiat loan. It is not an asset backed loan. But my apologies, Joseph, but that's my take on it. I think that, like everything else, like at the amount of time it's taken for this RV to finally roll out, we're in the same boat with the asset-backed dollar finally coming down to the street level, where we're getting the new currency out of ATMs, where we're going into the grocery store and giving somebody an asset-backed dollar for a loaf of bread. That's all coming. It's in the works, but it's not here yet. So how it relates to the RV, I'm hoping we get asset-backed dollars with these sovereign rates. That kills several birds with one stone. We've got a valid dollar in our bank account that is asset-backed, and we got an incredible amount of those dollars, more than we ever thought we would. That's what I'm hoping we get. But the confusion comes in that people see these rates and they think, well, somebody like Disney saying it's 1-to-1, it's parity. If it's asset-backed, it's $1 for $1 or $1.10 for $1 or 90 cents for $1, but it's somewhere in that neck of the woods. So how can we be getting, I'll be conservative and say, how can we be getting $20 for a dinar and $5 for a dong and $10 for a zim if we're asset-backed? That's because we're getting the other countries' valuation. So it's not that we're getting fiat dollars. We may be getting asset dollars, but we're not going to know until we're there and we ask the question. Basically, is this an asset-backed dollar or is this a fiat dollar? We're not going to know until we're there. That's my take on it. I hope somebody else has a better explanation, but that's my explanation.
I do.
Okay. You down in front. You. Yeah, with your hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Here's my take on it. They're trying to get all the fiat money off the street, and even yes. I think, in my opinion, even the dollars that are over in the central banks around the world. The quickest way to do that is to give us these high sovereign rates. Not to worry. It's okay. Relax. I could be wrong, but so they're going to give us these tremendously high sovereign rates. And then somewhere down the road, they're going to say, okay, oh, by the way, did we forget to tell you? As of this day, we're now gold or asset backed. And then that means everything in your account is now 1-to-1. Is there a downside? You haven't lost any money. But this is how I'm looking at it. Not show me the money. This is a business transaction and a way to get the fiat dollar digitally off the streets, and we kickstart humanity right dead in the dead butt, saying, okay, we've been squeezed, we've been taxed, we've been GMO'd to death, trying to kill us off, and all of a sudden everything's changing. Quickest way to get anybody's attention is to hit them in the pocketbook. I hate to say that, but it's true. But once we've got money in our pocket and some rules have changed and the balance of good and evil went from 90-10 to, I would hope maybe 60-40, 70-30, back in our favor, because nothing stays the same forever no matter what you think about. There's been 7 or 8 different currencies through time, way back. Portugal at one time had their own currency that was used. Britain, Spain, us. I'm missing some, but just, what did I do? Okay. Just some things to think about, and I think that's my take on why the high sovereign rates, the reason for it, and then what will happen afterwards. That was 2, 3. All right, number 3. What in the world are we going to do with all that money, especially after giving Wells Fargo 75% for humanity projects? What will be left for us to do? Oh, and especially if the rates are posted by anonymous or real rates. Well, the portion that you have left over, you're going to run your humanitarian projects out of that. What the bank does, we have no control over that. That's part of the structured payout. But they're not here to hurt us. They're here, and somebody had mentioned, I don't mind doing that as long as the money that the bank, the 75%, isn't used to sponsor and propagate the cabal and all the stuff they were doing before. I think that's going to change. I know it's going to change. I feel the change in the air. Some days I want to jump out of my own skin because of the things that's blowing in the wind. And you look around going, what the hell? I don't know, but I feel the change. So that's number 3. What will you do for us? And if the rates posted by anonymous are real, well, when you walk in and you present your appropriate business plan, and I'm not talking about a crayon, scribble it out on paper to the last minute, but a well thought out business plan when you go in, typed up, evenly spaced, This is when those typing and writing skills come in handy that the teachers taught us in high school. I sure hope I can remember. And if I do, my English teacher would be proud of me today. English was not my high on my list, but it's important. So on to number 4. Jerry and Iko. Friday's call, you mentioned that it might and hoped be your last call. Can you share with us what intel you received that made you believe that to be so? Well, what was presented to us, absolutely. And what it was, I'm not going to tell you. And oh, by the way, I've asked for a banker to come on. The answer was no. And the people that Iko talked to that might be in the exchange centers, we're not going to out them, and they're not going to come on the call because I'm sure their voice is well recognized like the rest of us. That's just not going to happen. You're going to have to take our word on it, not my word, Iko's word. And if you don't believe him, well, then we're all in a world of doo-doo. So can you share with – go ahead, Iko.
Jerry, one thing I do want to say is that when we make pronouncements about what it really looks like it's coming down tonight kind of thing, we're getting the same story from everybody. It's not just one or two intel people. It's everybody we're talking to, and it's verified by things like the people we know at the Exchange Center have been called in, and they're sitting there and being told that they're going to start processing people at whatever 8 o'clock that night or 6 o'clock that morning or something like that. It really is. It's like everybody thinks it's going to happen, and that's really the only time I know that I will stick my neck out and say, hey, guess what? It looks like it really is, because it's been that way for this is the 11th week that we have been told it's any minute. 11 weeks. And I keep notes about, when somebody said this and when somebody said that. So, I get how frustrated everybody is. We're all frustrated, but we're down to the wire. So, folks, don't say it's going to happen unless it literally looks like the entire community is in agreement, and that includes the outside sources. People are calling us from the UST. People are calling us from second-tier banks. People are calling us from Washington, D.C. Odd intel sources or unique intel sources. Let's put it that way. Not the usual suspects.
This is a big chess game between light and dark, good and evil, right and wrong. Nothing stays the same forever. If we could see the whole chessboard, but we can't. As pawns or rooks or what the hell's the one for horses? Hell, I don't know. Bishops. Everybody's at a different level. You and I, and yes, I'm putting myself at the same level as everybody else that hears my voice right now. I have picked my nose up off of the ground maybe an inch, and that only gives me just a limited view. As to have it poking above the weeds or the short grass, not quite there yet. So this is a big chess match. Hopefully, it's going to be game over here pretty soon, and that will be when the 800 numbers come out. All right, on to the next question. Number 5, will Canadians get the same sovereign rates? When Joseph spoke to this question, he said the U.S. government was worse than the Canadian government. I don't know if Canada will get the sovereign rates, and I don't know who determines who gets what. And as the next part of it, that's a little more political than what I want to get into. And besides, if my wife heard me talking about if Canadians were bad, because she's a Canuck, I'm afraid that I don't know how I would look the next day if I was to disparage Canadians. Let's see. Number 6, if rates are different, then who makes that decision, the elders or the bankers? That's a good question. And while you're in your meeting, have you ever watched an old show on TV called Profilers? Had the FBI on there, and they put their trainees and their people through programs called profiling people, and they watch and read people. And so I'm betting you're going to have some of this type of person in this room listening and watching, and you can't fool them. So just be honest. Don't try to go in there and be a con woman or a con man or a con teen. It's not going to work. Be honest. So that's probably the bankers determine that, but there's going to be people in there to help them with those decisions. How will the Canadians know what sovereign rate to negotiate with? Again, I don't know. Number 8, I can only talk about what's inside of the U.S. I would love to be able to answer that question, but I have no knowledge. Number 8, how long after we exchange our currency with Wells Fargo will we be allowed to move our assets to another institution? A day or two? I guess they have to, like anything else, a transaction. Well, it was done after 3 today, so it'll be cleared after business tomorrow close or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, Chair, to clarify that, if you're in a structured payment, you're not going to be able to move your structured payment assets. You're only going to be able to move what was your upfront percentage.
Right.
Just to clarify that, just in case there's any confusion around that. That structured payment, that stays at Wells Fargo for the term that you've negotiated.
And whether it's 75%, 80%, you need to look at I'm taking my calculator with me. And Joseph was saying that he only wants maybe 5%. You don't know what anybody holds. But he's got a good point, and I've made this point. Why do you want to be responsible for a major sum that you're going to have to grow and watch out over? Why not let the bank do it, especially if they're saying, we're going to give you interest on the portion that you leave with us, and we'll take care of the rest. That's their business. Banks, and right now, for us, it's an ugly term. Banks are a necessary evil because that's how they're perceived. Not all bankers are bad, and I think the majority of the issue is in the upper end, and because that's where a lot of the command decisions are made and piped down to the sergeants and the corporals and things like that, and in your branch managers, the bank edict. So why not let them deal with it, especially if they're giving you a guarantee? Pardon me. That they're gonna grow it. Well, they're going to use it, but they're going to give you interest. Hello, I'll take that any day. Let's see. Number 9. I have a master's trust that contains all of my currency. I plan to exchange all currency into my trust bank account. I intend to deposit my upfront funds into my trust's Wells Fargo account and do a 100-year payout on the balance, with the interest earned being deposited into the trust's Wells Fargo account. How will the bank's skeleton trust enter into the equation? Well, let me answer this first. There's more to it. You don't have to have a skeleton trust. You've already got a trust set up. the skeleton trust, from what we were told last night, is just a 90-day vehicle to give you time to get your affairs in order, get your financial team in order, get your attorney, and look at other trusts if you don't like this one. That's how it enters into the equation. It seems to me that I should not need to use the bank's trust, as I have my master's trust in place now. Please confirm my or correct my thinking. That's how it was written. So there you go. There's your explanation. Number 10. And I'm reading these questions. I haven't read them before, so there are so many different intels coming out about the rates, proper protocols, and banks spinning all around us. This means we have to discern, who do we trust? No doubt I trust you and your team, Jerry. Question: does the rates and protocols you guys get from your bank inside bank contacts, such as ICO's folks? If not, without telling names, can you give us a better idea where it comes from? Thanks for all of you and your team's efforts. Outstanding, guys. Well, thank you for your trust, and that's why ICO keeps me on even parallel on days when I'm beside myself, when I wake up and I haven't been to the bank and I want to burn the house down, but it's not the right thing to do. The protocols, they're leaked out and given to us so that when you go in the bank, you're not going to be doe-eyed and looking around going, what do I do? What do I do? So some of the protocols have been given to us. Hopefully, after many phone calls, it's taken me a while, but it's starting to sink in. Hey, take your calculator, your currency, and they're telling us in stages, your currency, discounted, you're going to go to your exchange, and after that, you can go talk to a wealth manager. So maybe that's why it's taken, hour and a half to do things. And this goes back to when you're in there, all of this is about getting you prepared so you're not asking rudimentary 101 questions that you would ask in Denarland. That's what we're trying to get you through here, so it quickens the process. Because the people behind you, and I'm sure they're not going to have people, like at a bank teller line, waiting. I'm sure they're going to have a waiting area, but they don't want a whole bunch of you there. This is for security reasons, but just remember, the longer you take, and yes, it's very important, but the longer you take, it's taken away from your brothers and sisters behind you that really could use the money also. So just something to think about. I want to take all the time I can, but then my compassion kicks in, like I've got people standing behind me. Crap, I need to get in and get out, because I can always come back and talk to my wealth manager, say tomorrow, make an appointment if they'll give you that one that soon. Take your cash in hand. We've heard they're going to give you a debit card or a credit card with $100K on it. Be happy. Have somebody drive you home. Have a margarita waiting for you, in a go mug. When you get back in the limousine or whoever's driving you, take a big drink. If you don't drink, breathe deeply. Take a knee. Thank you, Lord, because now life begins. So does the rates and protocols you guys get from your bank, inside bank contacts? Okay, we addressed that. Thanks for all of you. All right, number 11. Heiko, if you see something I haven't addressed or I just hit across it and it needs to be addressed, kick in. Number 11. I know you won't say dates or rates, but what is the longest possible time frame we will wait for this? A week, a month, a year? I know many have waited an eternity, it seems like, and will continue to do so. Just wondering if you can share any sort of possibilities besides very soon, shortly, or near future. Those are terms that I've got a T-shirt I'm going to have printed on that I never want to hear again. I hate that. And my hat goes off to Tony and to Ray, because all the time, any second, any minute, we're on the moment, we're in the minute. I mean, all of it. I don't know. I wish I could say. I'd like to say, and this is just me saying, not saying it's happening. I'd like to say, oh hell yeah, at 5 o'clock Eastern Day, it's going down. Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, I want to champion on this one.
Go ahead.
We really are in an any moment status, but any moment could stretch out. Days or even another week. I like looking at it from the market standpoint. A market collapse will force the RV, regardless of whether the players are all ready or not. It will be the only way to get out of it. So that's one thing you could look at. What shape is the market? What's China doing? What's Asia doing versus what Europe is doing? That'll give you a good indication of a possible breach of the dam. In that case, or we're stuck with what I'll call the algorithm, which I know has gotten unpopular, but I still think that's what it is. As the new computer system and software wind down and weed out everybody who is problematic, that shrinks on a moment by moment basis, and pretty soon there's going to be a critical mass where, yeah, there's going to be some crooks out there still, but it's not going to be anything that the system can't handle post RV. So for those of you who get afraid when people say, oh, it's not going to happen until next year, or it's not going to happen until the end of the summer, or we missed the beginning of the quarter, so now we got to wait until June for the beginning of the next quarter. From everything I'm hearing from the quote-unquote experts that I hear from, that is not the consideration. Either the market's going to force it, or the algorithm is going to complete itself. Those are the deciding factors. It's not like somebody feeling good one day and pushing the button. That's not how it's going to happen. This is a structured event. It's based on certain mileposts and steps being completed. So I hope that helps some of you. I know it doesn't help all of you. My belief is we could get broken into and 800 numbers announced during this call. Or we're going to have to wait until Friday when the market's closed and see if anybody tries to prop up the bond market again, which is like in chaos right now. You just don't know. But that's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm believing.
Oh, I just remembered some of my other house cleaning here by reading another question. Hey, mute yourself on your end, Aiko. I just remembered my other little bit of housekeeping. There was a little confusion about my comment about divorces and why are they so expensive, because they're worth it. It was an analogy that I was making. What was I talking about at that time? Oh, financial teams. You get what you pay for. They're worth what you're paying for. So the analogy that I used is, why are divorces so expensive? Because they're worth it. You pay for what you get. I needed to clarify that because some people, their shorts or their panties got into a wad, thinking that I'm advocating divorce. Absolutely not. No. I'm sure it will happen, but I am not advocating it. It was just an analogy to explain what I was talking about. So I hope that clears it up. So I'm stopping here at question 11 or 12, and we're going to take a few questions. Here we go. Hutchinson, Kansas, 620. Come on down. Uh-oh. They dropped off. I don't know what happened. Let me look here. Iko, are you still unmuted? Nope, there they are. Hutchinson, Kansas? Nope. All righty then. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 954. Come on down. One question.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm finer than frog fur. One quick question. Do you know, must we take the skeleton trust when we exchange and redeem?
If you have something set up previously, absolutely not. It's if you go in there cold and you don't have anything, they're offering, and especially if you have Zim, it's for your protection as well as the banks. And they're in charge. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you very much.
Okay. If you'll do *2 to put your hand down, sir.
Jerry, I got to take a 10-minute break.
Okay. LaGrange, Illinois, 630. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry, thanks for taking my call. I had a quick question on, I have currencies also invested in a 401k or self-directed IRA. Have you been given any direction on how they're going to handle those accounts regarding structured payouts? And
No, sir.
okay.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, *2 to raise your hand if you want to ask a question. I'm going to try to get through as many as possible. So, God bless Houston, Texas. Can you hear me now? 281. Hello? Houston, Texas. We're not even going to go there. Too much background noise. And this number looks familiar. Well, the home of the second best barbecue, come on down, 816.
Hello. I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a question on the 75% that we will be leaving at the bank that you're talking about. Now, do they decide, the wealth manager, or you decide with them what they're going to be doing with that money as far as investing, or they just automatically have total control over it and then they give us our interest rate every quarter?
As far as I
How does
know, they're going to be in charge of it, and then you'll get your quarterly interest payments off of the portion you leave with them. You have to remember, they're in business to make money, and they're not going to lose
Right.
the principal.
Right.
And besides, with Wells Fargo positioning themselves to have such a massive amount of liquidity come into their bank, I feel confident leaving that portion with them.
Okay. And then over the years, when that comes due, you said before that they would give it, give that money all of that money to us, there'd be no problem in getting that then with
No.
that much money?
Nope. But like any good bank or any good business person, when it comes time to turn back over what is rightfully yours, because it's a structured payout, and I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of paperwork attached with it.
Right.
If you're making money with it, would you want to watch it walk out the bank, other than say, hey, ma'am, now before we've got about 3 years before it's due, can we sit down and talk about this, and we'd like to do this, this, and this for you? They're going to contact you in advance before the note comes due. They're not going to wait till the last day and then say, oh, by the way. No. They want smooth, easy, happy. Let's just keep it easy.
Okay, and do you have any idea why, if you're a ZIM holder, everyone will have to sign an NDA, even if you wasn't taking what others have called contract rates?
So I'm going to say that again.
Well,
Why?
before, we was told that the only ones to be signing NDAs was the ones taking what they call the contract rates, the higher rate.
Right.
But if you didn't want the higher rate, you wouldn't have to sign an NDA. Then I heard a week ago that anybody that holds them is going to have to sign an NDA.
It's only because, in my opinion, the rates are going to be as such that it's going to make you a very wealthy woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to use these figures, which they are, I have no idea what they are. So let's say that you got $5 for your ZIM, but your neighbor next door only got $1.25.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going to be upset because everybody's negotiating for their own rate.
Oh, right.
It's just to keep you. It would be a very ugly thing if people were sharing rates. Well, why didn't I get that? And they go back to the bank, raising hell, and that's not what this is about. A smooth, seamless transition, and keep your lip zipped. Okay.
So it just has to do with the rates.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just a strict NDA, like if you ever said anything to family or anybody, all of a sudden your money'd be gone. I didn't want that to.
And I want to say this: family is the first on the list that you don't want to talk to, unless it's your husband.
Right.
You don't want to let any of your family know. They just know that mom's doing good. Well, but still.
All my family is in this.
But they may not all get the same rate as you, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And so to keep hard feelings down, keep the problems down, don't say anything to anybody, especially family. Okay. And don't have family working for you either. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rogers, Arkansas, 479, home of Jerry Jones.
Good afternoon, Ben. Thank you for taking my call, Jerry. So my question was regarding your reference to Joseph the other night, and he was talking about sovereign rate. Where would I listen to? Is there a recording that I can bring that up and listen to that to hear what he had to say and what he was referring to as a sovereign rate? I believe that you mentioned he was the one who was talking about. So I haven't heard that term.
Yes, you can go to my website, thewingitcall.com, and on some tabs at the top of the page on the left, it'll say replay links. And when you click on that, it will say replay with Joseph.
And was that yesterday? I think
Yes.
ICO said yesterday. I didn't know you had one on Sunday night.
Actually had 2 yesterday, unplanned. But normally on the weekends, I do not. Yesterday was very exhausting. Today, it's one of those days.
I've had those. Believe me, the day started out that way for me too, so I understand what you're coming from. Probably mine are more mild than yours. But you say there were 2 of them. Are both of those there would be in the upper left top on your page?
Well, the first one was a short trust call, and it probably should say that, but the one that you want will say, let me click on it here, replay links. When you scroll down, it will say May 8th, replay for Yosef Sunday.
Okay,
there's two May 8th replays. One is a trust call, the other one is Yosef. Okay?
Okay, great. You know, just as everybody else, I have as much frustration as I know you do too, but it's just a matter of having to sit in there and hang in there and wait it out. There's nothing else we can do. But you have a good day, and thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you very much for your understanding, sir.
All right.
Hey, Jerry, I'm back.
Okay. Any words of wisdom before I go on to the next call, or maybe you had an epiphany?
No, sorry. No epiphany. No burning bush, nothing.
No, you didn't have a Tiffany a moment?
I didn't have a Tiffany. I didn't have a lightning strike. Nothing. So.
Well, here we go, and I think I know who this is. Washington, Maryland, 240. Miracle Queen, is that you?
Hello.
Miracle Queen, girlfriend, is that you?
Yes, it is. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, I want to make a statement before I ask my question. My statement is, first of all, I'm 74 years old. I don't have 100 years or so many years to do a structured payout. And I spoke to my attorney, and he said that was against the law. Number 2, I'm taking my attorney and my CPA with me to exchange. But I don't have 75 to give to the bank. And I already have my own humanitarian funds with my church, my grandchildren. I have a mother-in-law that's 94 years old that's got a brain disease and a brother with brain cancer. So I've got those to help. Plus, I want to help mothers that have single parents, have kids in college. So I don't have that kind of money to put up. And I don't have any problem signing an NDA, but I would take the regular rate and just go about my business.
I think you'll be happy with the regular rate, Miracle Queen. So what is your question, sweetie?
Yeah, because I can't. I'm too old. That's 75%, and the structure.
Right.
I can't do that. At my
Miracle
age,
Queen.
I'm lucky if I have 5 years, you know.
Miracle Queen, it's going to be okay, sweetie. They know. So what?
And
give me your question.
Well, now my question is, will you be able to get your certified checks?
Yes, ma'am.
Because $100,000 on a credit card is not going to help me, because I struggled and saved my retirement to buy these currencies so I could do the things I needed to do, like buying a house and getting
Miracle Queen. Sweetie, it's going to be okay. When I said just a credit card with $100K, that's just to get you out the door. Then tomorrow is a brand new day, and you'll have access to way more than what you had the first day.
Okay.
All right. It's okay, sweetie.
All right. Thank you. Hi, OK Ward, and Art, I love you guys and have a great day.
Miracle Queen?
Yes.
Repeat after me. Hello, Deacon Iko.
Oh, he's a deacon now.
Yes,
oh,
ma'am.
Well.
He's a deacon now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, hello, Deacon, and tell what's his name? Art, hello. And
I will.
all have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Miracle Queen. So we're going to Spring, Texas, 832. Isn't that down there around Houston? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. It is. It's just north of Houston.
Haven't you got a little water down there, man? Don't you have a little water down there?
Yes. It was horrible, yes. So we need the RV so we can help these people. I didn't have water, but boy, it was horrible here. Well, in Houston, it was. I wanted to ask you something, basically what Miracle Queen has asked. When you said about the 100,000 credit card, and I was wanting to know, well, when would we have access to the balance that they put, that they gave us?
Well, I'm sure within 24 hours because you're turning in, and we won't know. I'm just shooting from the hip here. So don't shoot the messenger. This is not fact. I'm saying 24 hours. It's like any transaction. Yes. It just takes a little bit to get absorbed into the system. Okay?
That's okay. I just wondered because I thought, well, gosh, we may have to wait a week. Who knows? But that's okay.
No.
All righty.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Houston, 832. Can you hear me now, Storm? Hello.
Good evening, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, question for Iko. Is he still around?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Iko,
go ahead.
If you currently hold yuan, how would you go about exchanging it? You just bring that with the rest of your currency, or you have to put that in a special account of some type? Seeing that they're not too crazy about taking the U.S. dollar, exchanging for the U.S. dollar.
Well, hold on a second. Let me just. I just want to feed it back to you. Are you saying that you have yuan at this moment?
Yes, sir. I hold quite a bit of yuan right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you're golden then. You just want to hang on to it until both China and the U.S. declare their asset back. Then you basically have 6.5 to 1 against the USD right now. So if you hang on to that currency, that yuan currency, just wait for the United States to declare their asset back. And now you've got $6.5 to your 6.5 yuan. Multiply the USD 6 times 6.5. So just hang on to it. Don't do anything with it.
All right, thank you, Iko. It's greatly appreciated. And Jerry, I appreciate everything you do. God bless you guys. Well, run around.
Thank you, sir. So here is a little tidbit that I just received about Obamacare. Here is what happened quietly on January 1st, 2016. So I want everybody to pay attention closely. Medicare tax went from 1.45% to 2.35%. The top income tax bracket went from 35% to 39.6%. Now it's going to be confusing here, so I'm going to read this again. The top income tax bracket went from 35% to 39%. The top income payroll tax went from 37% to 52%. That's top income payroll tax. Capital gains tax went from 15% to 28%. I'm betting that's for long term, because I think long term used to be 15%. Now it's 28%. And before everybody gets their panties in a wad, I will explain after I get done. Dividend tax went from 15% to 40%. Estate tax went from 0% to 55%. A 3.5% real estate transaction tax was added. These taxes were solely passed. These taxes were all passed solely with Democratic votes. Not a single Republican voted for these new taxes. These taxes were all passed in the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. Now, hopefully, if things go like what we all wish, and that the IRS went defunct when the Puerto Rico bonds went, along with the corporate USA, then we're all good. But until they make a public announcement, yes, we must still play the games with the IRS. So I wanted to say that before everybody was up in arms, and I know there's a few of them out there that will be. Just something to remember. Hayden Lake, Idaho, 208. Come on down.
Hi, Jerry and Eichel and Art and everybody else. Appreciate all the information you're bringing us. I've got a question. I've got an elderly mother and an elderly mother-in-law that both are currency holders. The mother-in-law is just a few weeks removed from hip surgery. I have powers of attorney from both of them for me to exchange their currencies. So what I'm wondering, when I go in, can I lump theirs with mine and exchange it and then distribute the funds into their account?
Iko, didn't we? No, I didn't talk with you about that. So do you have a trust already?
Yes. Yeah, I have a trust, and I'm going to, all my currency's in the trust, and it's going to go in directly into the trust account. But why couldn't I just exchange theirs and put it in their respective accounts at the same time?
Do you have power of attorney for that?
Yes, I do.
I don't see anything wrong with that. But again, I go back to my disclaimer at the beginning of the call.
Understand, Jerry. I'm trying to avoid having each of them to have their own appointments and accompany them in. If I have to sign an NDA, then that could be a problem, trying to get them done.
So if you have a power of attorney, then you can do things for them without them being there. Isn't that what that's for?
Understand. I'm just trying to do it the same time I do mine. That was my concern.
Oh, once you're in there, just present your issues, and I'm sure if you have enough money talks and BS walks, so when you're in there, I'm sure they'll make an adjust accordingly for you. How's that?
Okay. That's kind of what I thought. I just wondered if I was thinking right. So,
nope.
I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness. Well, how do I pronounce this one? Well, give it a whirl. Weedowee, Alabama, 256. Come on down. Hello. Weedowee, it may not be where you're from. The last four of your phone number is 3692. Can you hear me now? Hello. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Alabama. Okay. So I think at that note, Michael, why don't you give a synopsis here, and I think we're going to call it a day on the call. I'm kind of tired from yesterday. I don't know about the rest of you, but my tired's hanging out. Michael? Hello? Oh, he's all righty then. Well, Pastor, I've unmuted you. Come on down. Oh, Pastor. Well, everybody's leaving me here.
Gary, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. I think I had my headset muted. Synopsis. Synopsis. Regardless of wherever your understanding is concerning the details of this exchange, something that comes through clear as a bell from all the sources is the banks at this time in history have your best interests at heart because, quite frankly, it serves them as well. The more USD they get off the street, the more credit they get from the international banking system, the stronger their bottom line is, and that's what their selfish interest is after. It works for us. It helps us. It helps your friends, your neighbors. It helps your philanthropic ventures. I know we're at a real frustration level now because we've been hearing for over 2 months that it's any day now, and we're just going to hear that now until it's done. Guessing at the time appears to be more of the game now than guessing at the rates. The rates, from what everybody's saying, are going to be really, really spectacular, especially for us who are following this venture. You got to remember, there's only like 4,000 people on this call right now. That's not a lot when you consider there's 20 million currency holders. There's supposedly 18,000 ZIM holders. And a lot of them don't have a clue as to what's going on. So we're going to be at the front. When it happens, we're going to be at the front of the line. We're going to get the best rates. We're going to get the best deals. We're going to be taken care of. And you got to have a little faith that is the truth. So I hope that helps some of you. I know it doesn't help those of you who are in foreclosure or have, astronomical medical bills and decisions to make around that. It's a shame, but that's just how it's going to be until we're on the other side of the exchange office. I guess that's my synopsis. We're all tired, but the faithful are going to prove out on this one. The meek really are about to inherit the earth. I think we can, no pun intended, we can take that to the bank. So I guess that's all I have to say.
There's a lot of disinformation out there, and it's done for a purpose to persuade us and get us down in the dumps. It happens. We're human. But just remember, we are in the catbird seat, and all the people out there, the naysayers, oh, it's a scam. See, again, another day went by, and you're blowing smoke up their dress, Jerry, and oh my God, you're taking money from people. You're a criminal. I've heard it all. And some of the emails are quite colorful. I've saved them for prosperity. hell, I'm going to have to get me one of those great big office printers just in a case of paper just to print out all those colorful letters just for prosperity. I've saved them all. So, Pastor, are you out there? I have a feeling he's taking a nap. All right. Well, Lord, I hope that the people's hearts and ears were listening today, that you guided us accordingly, especially my lips, because I need a lot of guidance. I'm just a witness for you. And to keep people updated as best as possible. I want to thank you, Lord, for that. Please bless and nourish their spiritual side as much as I need it from you. And we demand your guidance. We don't ask. We demand that you give us guidance in this blessing, because we are not worthy to be stewards without your guidance, especially with the abundance that you are blessing us with. Thank you, Lord. Amen. So that being said, Aiko, say goodbye.
Goodbye. I hope
Goodbye.
I never have to talk to you people again.
Me either. Bye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye.